No matter where you stand politically, there's one thing that's impossible to ignore. Donald Trump is still everywhere. Turn on the news, open social media, scroll through political headlines. His name appears again and again, sometimes praised, sometimes criticized, but never ignored. Years after leaving office, facing investigations, court battles, and relentless media attention, Trump remains the most talked about political figure in America. And that raises a question millions of people are quietly asking. How is Donald Trump still at the center of U.S. politics? Not just why people support him, not just why people oppose him, but why? After everything, he still shapes the conversation more than almost anyone else. Today, we're breaking that down. This is not about taking sides. This is about understanding power, influence, and why Trump's political presence refuses to fade. When Donald Trump left the White House, many believed his political influence would fade quickly, that history would move on, that the Republican Party would return to a more traditional structure. That didn't happen. Instead, something unusual occurred. Even without holding office, Trump continued to dominate political discourse. His endorsements shaped elections. His statements drove headlines. His rallies still filled arenas. And his critics continued to react to him as if he were still president. In American politics, influence usually fades when power fades. Trump broke that pattern. Part of the reason is his connection with his base. For many supporters, Trump represents something bigger than policy. He represents frustration with institutions, distrust of elites, and a desire to disrupt what they see as a broken system. At the same time, for critics, Trump represents the opposite, a threat to democratic norms, political stability, and traditional leadership. That combination, intense loyalty on one side and intense opposition on the other, keeps him permanently in the spotlight. And in modern media, attention is power. Another reason Trump remains central to politics is the unprecedented legal scrutiny surrounding him. Never before in U.S. history has a former president faced this many legal challenges while also remaining politically active. Court cases, investigations, hearings, each one becomes a media event. Supporters see them as political attacks. Critics see them as accountability. But here's the key point. Whether people believe he's being targeted unfairly or held responsible, the result is the same. Trump stays at the center of national attention. And attention shapes perception. Every court appearance becomes a news cycle. Every ruling becomes a political talking point. Every statement becomes a headline. For many voters, this constant exposure reinforces existing beliefs. Supporters feel more loyal. Opponents feel more alarmed. And undecided voters are left trying to separate fact from noise. This constant tension fuels engagement. And in modern politics, engagement often matters more than approval ratings. To understand Trump's continued influence, you have to understand something deeper than politics. Trump speaks in a way that feels unscripted. Whether people love or hate that style, it makes him feel different from traditional politicians. He doesn't sound like he's reading from prepared remarks. He speaks emotionally, often impulsively, and directly to his audience. For many Americans who feel ignored by institutions, that matters. His supporters often say the same thing. He says what others want. That perception, whether accurate or not, gives Trump a unique bond with his base. It creates a sense of loyalty that goes beyond party lines or policy platforms. At the same time, his critics argue that this same style contributes to division, misinformation, and political instability. Both views can exist at the same time, and that's what makes Trump such a powerful figure. He isn't just a politician. He's a symbol, and symbols are hard to erase. Another reason Trump remains unavoidable is the way modern media works. News outlets thrive on engagement. Social media thrives on reaction. And Trump generates both better than almost anyone. A single statement from him can dominate news cycles for days. Supporters share it. Critics respond to it. Commentators analyze it. Algorithms amplify it. Even when coverage is negative, it still spreads his message further. Ironically, attempts to silence or ignore Trump often backfire. His absence creates curiosity. His return creates headlines. This feedback loop, attention, reaction, amplification, keeps him permanently relevant in a way few politicians ever achieve. Inside the Republican Party, Trump's influence has reshaped everything. Candidates seek his endorsement. Party leaders measure their words carefully. Policy positions often shift based on how closely they align with his views. At the same time, there's an ongoing struggle within the party itself. Some Republicans want to move forward, arguing that the future requires new leadership and a broader appeal. Others believe Trump is the party's strongest voice and best chance to win elections. This internal conflict has defined Republican politics for years, and it shows no sign of ending soon. What makes this dynamic so powerful is that Trump doesn't need formal authority to influence it. His base gives him leverage. And in politics, leverage is everything. Interestingly, Trump's influence isn't limited to Republicans. Democrats continue to organize, campaign, and fundraise around him as well. For many voters on the left, Trump represents a warning, a symbol of what they believe must be prevented from happening again. That dynamic keeps him politically relevant even among people who strongly oppose him. In a way, Trump has become a reference point for both sides of the political spectrum. Campaigns are built either in support of him or in opposition to him. Few figures in modern American history have had that level of impact. Stepping back, the Trump phenomenon says as much about America as it does about Trump himself. It reveals deep divisions in how people view government, media, institutions, and leadership. It shows a country struggling to agree on basic facts, let alone solutions. And it highlights a growing gap between political elites and everyday voters, a gap Trump was able to tap into more effectively than almost anyone before him. Whether people see him as a disruptor, a danger, a reformer, or a symptom of a broken system depends largely on their own experiences and beliefs. But one thing is undeniable. Trump didn't create America's divisions, he exposed them. Looking ahead, the question isn't just whether Trump remains influential. The real question is what happens to American politics because of him. Will the country move toward more confrontational politics? Will institutions adapt or resist? Will future leaders copy his style or reject it entirely? Those answers aren't clear yet. What is clear is that Trump has permanently changed the political landscape. Even if he never holds office again, his impact will be studied, debated, and argued over for decades. Love him or hate him, Donald Trump has done something few politicians ever do. He changed the conversation. He reshaped political identity. He altered how campaigns are run. And he forced Americans to confront questions about power, truth, and leadership. The story of Trump isn't just about one man. It's about a country trying to understand itself in a rapidly changing world. And that's why, even now, the story isn't over. Good evening. This is the Daily Update, bringing you the latest stories from around the world.